We're going to be talking about Mapudugün, which is a language spoken by the Mapuche people, and we've got a map here of their territory, which is known as the Wild Mapu. Mapu is a word you'll hear a lot in Mapudugün. It means land. Mapuche means people of the land. Mapu, land, che, people. Mapudugün is the language of the land. And now, it is an endangered language spoken in by about 260,000 people. There is some discussion about exactly what family affiliation might have. There's some suggests that it might be related to the Penutian languages of North America, or the Andean, Arawakan, or Mayan languages. It contains loanwords from Quechua and Spanish because the Mapuche, the Incas actually tried to conquer the Mapuche territory, and the Mapuche were actually repelled them. But they're adjacent linguistically, so you have loanwords and things like that. Now, it is an endangered language because of, settler colonialism and genocide, which is the reason a lot of languages are endangered languages. But there is a major effort underway, particularly in Chile, to revive it. And the result of that is that there's been something of an explosion of resources for learning it. And I'm going to just show you some of those. Now, as you can see, the territory, the traditional Mapuche territory, consists of the Ngulu Mapu, which is to the west of the Andes and goes from just north of Valparaíso in Chile down to the south beyond Puerto Montt, and also covers the other coast going into what is presently known as Argentina, all the way to Mar del Plata. You can find Mapuche place names all over Argentina, although reactionaries in Argentina like to actually claim that the Mapuche don't really exist. They are a conspiracy of the British Empire to take over Argentina, which, I mean, as you do. So we're going to look at some resources. Most of it, as you will not be surprised to hear, are for Spanish speakers. Like, one particularly good example is Fiestoforo's channel, he is a cartoonist based in Santiago, as I recall, and has done a lot of just illustrations of books on Mapuche. We're going to just start out with this Mapudugün for English speakers, which is a YouTube channel in its own right. I'm going to drop the link right now into the description.
Mari Mari Pupeñi, Mari Mari Pulemian, Mari Mari Compuche.
Mari Mari is the traditional Mapuche greeting.
Inche Patricio Piñen, Inche Mapuchengen. Chimleimen, Inche Patricio Piñen, Inche Mapuchengen, Ka Peumanyan Tremaliaiman Pachantu. Hello my friends, how are you all around the world? My name is Patricio, as I said, in Mapudugün language, which is the language that Mapuche people speaks here at Mapu. Mapuche people is native population, well, in a way, from part of Chile and Argentina, of course. And our language is Mapudugün, okay, which is spoken in all these areas. So there are many videos already in YouTube in order to learn Mapudugün language, but most of them are in Spanish because that's the language that is spoken by most of the population in Chile and Argentina nowadays. So, thinking the other day, I had many friends, in other countries that want to learn, and they are interested to learn Mapudugün language, and also for all the Mapuche people, all the Mapuche descendants of Mapuche people that doesn't live here nowadays.
Yeah, there.
In the Netherlands, there's a big community called Folil.
Yeah, there are a fair number of Mapuche refugees, actually, even currently living in various parts of Europe in particular, because the Chilean state has always, and I mean, from the very start, been extremely aggressive in repressing them. They've never. See, that one of the things about Mapuche society is it's quite horizontal and decentralized. So there's never been a central authority who could simply agree to a surrender that everyone would respect. And the result is they've been resisting colonization more or less since colonization became a thing that they needed to resist. And that's taken all sorts of forms, and the Chilean state has been hostile to them to varying degrees the entire time. And so there's a fair number of Mapuche refugees living abroad.
Also in Sweden, in Australia, in other parts of the world. So these Mapuche descendants that nowadays they recognize themselves as Mapuche people, they are English speakers and they speak English more than Spanish. Okay, so this video, guys, is for all of you, and I hope you learn a little bit of my language. Okay, well, first of all, how do we greet the people? How do we say hello? This is a very easy one. We say it, Mari Mari, Mari Mari.
And you'll notice, unlike Spanish, it is a soft R sound. In fact, that soft R sound is something that you see in a lot of Chilean Spanish, particularly when you see the consonant combination TR, which a lot of Chileans, particularly working class Chileans, and especially Mapuche people living in Chile, pronounce almost like a ch sound.
As you can read here. This will be easier for English speakers because there's a big problem with the R with the Spanish speakers, you know? In Spanish the R is stronger, like Mari. That's totally wrong. We Mapuche people, we said Mari, 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 and that means hello, or we can translate it also as good morning. Okay? Well, but there's a thing here that you need to learn. A man, you know, with another man, between man, they will say Mari, Mari, Peñi. That means like hello, brother. Okay? But a man with a woman will say Mari, Mari, la miñan. That means sister, but also means brother, you know, from the point of view of the woman. So woman and a man is Mari, Mari, la miñan. Now, a woman and another woman will say Mari, Mari, la miñan. So that's an easy one. You don't need to change it. For the girls, it's easier. So man, Mari Mari Peñi, Mari Mari Lamien, and woman will say Mari Mari Lamien and Mari Mari Lamien. Okay.
A little bit like oppa and hyung in Korean.
Then we will say how are you? And in Mapudugün language, we will say chumlei mi am. Once again, as you can read here, chumlei mi am. Okay?
And Mapudugün, as you're going to see, is a very strongly agglutinating language. A lot of indigenous languages in this part of the world are. So it has all sorts of different suffixes and infixes and prefixes. And I talk about... Sorry. And I talk about that in more detail, except that my knowledge of Mapudugün is actually quite superficial. I don't know a whole lot about it at this point. So I'm going to drop the link to that video, and there are some others we're going to also look at, just as we go through and look through the some of these resources that I've found. So let's see. This is for Spanish speakers more. Okay. Yeah, it is. It's like a Chinese R, that her.
Antu, Epu, Iael, Orkon, Ua,
The U sound, which is very common in Mapudugün, you often find in loanwords in Chilean Spanish. Chilean Spanish is full of Mapuche words. It often becomes we.
Uñum.
Uñum.
Waria.
Ciudad.
Yene.
Okay, so in the standard, the writing system that has become standard in Mapudugün these days, the G is like Spanish, except it only shows up in the middle of words, this says.
Zenguin. Zenguin.
It's actually a little bit like a ng sound. Singing. Yeah. So that's one of Fietoforos. Let me see, get another one. Fietoforo. Okay. And he's a great cartoonist as well. He's one of the
Pronombres personales en
my
Mapudugün.
favorite. Okay, this is pronouns in Mapudugün. Let's just look at this.
Las personas son tres. La primera persona, el hablante, inche. La segunda persona, el oyente, eimi.
So inche is I, eimi you.
Y la tercera persona, fei.
And in Mapudugün, there's no gendered pronouns. So fei means he, she, and it.
Las personas pueden ser singular, dual o plural. A continuación.
So the column in the middle, these are, okay, en Mapudugün las personas pueden ser singular, dual. So there's a singular, a dual, and a plural that is more than three.
Revisaremos
Or three or more.
pronombres. Primera persona corresponde a yo, inche. Nosotros dos, inchu. Nosotros, inchin. La segunda persona, tú, eimi. Ustedes dos, eimu. Ustedes, eimen. No se diferencia la
Eimen.
formalidad. El pronombre de tercera persona, fei, hace referencia a personas, animal o cosas. El dual es feienmu y el plural, feienen.
And you hear that G sound, it's still got that nasal bit there as well. Engel, engen.
El pronombre fei designa tanto hombre como mujer. La expresión inchintain ngen
Okay, inchintain pu mapuchengen. So that pu seems to be, as I understand it, something that you put to mean like the for a plural. Okay, inchintain pu mapuchengen nie que la fuin tawinka ui kui fimeo. Okay, we the Mapuche, nosotros los Mapuche, antes no teníamos nombres en castellano. We the Mapuche didn't used to have Spanish names. Winca is Spanish.
es un pronombre de primera persona plural. Fentepui.
Okay, so that's another one of these resources. And here's another channel. I'm going to just keep dropping these into the chat for anyone who's interested in looking into this further. Here's some basic vocab. Amulfungen.
Hola Juan, ¿qué tal?
Mari Peña y Maximiliano,
No te entiendo. ¿Qué me estás hablando? No te entiendo nada.
mira,
What are you saying? I don't understand a word.
este es un idioma, lo conocen como el Mapudugün o el Mapudugün.
¡Wow! Espectacular. Es el idioma de los...
Es un idioma de los mapuches.
De los
En este
mapuches.
caso es mi idioma materno.
Ajá. ¿Tú eres originario mapuche o tienes raíces mapuche?
Yo soy originario, soy Huincabal Antipano.
O sea,
Tanto
tú
por
eres,
mi
tú
mamá.
eres originario del pueblo mapuche.
Exacto.
Cuéntale a nuestros amigos, Juan, ¿qué es lo que vamos a hacer con estos videos? ¿Qué es lo
Okay, so this is going to be basic vocabulary. This is obviously for Spanish speakers.
que esperamos? ¿Cuál es nuestra misión? Cuéntales un poquito sobre este proyecto.
A ver, el idioma Mapudugün hoy día lo que pretendemos nosotros es llevarlo un poco a la oralidad.
Exacto.
Se está discutiendo mucho la escritura, por ejemplo, que es válida también. Yo creo que hay un avance ahí. Sin embargo,
Yeah, he's saying that they're trying to promote the spoken Mapuche. There has been an advance in terms of written Mapuche, and that's true. I mean, there are like lots. I mean, just in the past decade, it seems there's been a lot more books published for people who are trying to learn Mapudugün, people who are like trying to revive the language and stuff like that. There's been a definite linguistic revival that's been taking shape. In Chile, above all, I don't know, probably to some extent in Argentina as well, though I hadn't noticed as much. I mean, like, when you're inside, let me just say, the visibility of the Mapuche seems to be just much higher in Chile. Like, you see graffiti in referring to, like, Mapuche political prisoners and using Mapuche words like Huechan, which means, like, struggle, or Marichihueo, which is, like, for victory and stuff like that, or Newen, which means fuerza, strength, all over Santiago. Yeah, you know, the Mapuche and like Mapuche symbols like the Kultrun, which I'm sure we're going to see in one of these videos because it is like probably the best known Mapuche symbol. All over like Santiago, all over like Valparaíso, the major cities in Chile. Even outside of the area where the most Mapuche-speaking people, Mapudugün-speaking people live, which is further south around Temuco, Angol, Puerto Montt, in the region known as Araucanía. But my experience in Buenos Aires was that there was very little visibility. Like, I mean, there's tons of political graffiti in Buenos Aires. Very interesting stuff, but basically nothing. I didn't see. I'm always looking at the walls, and there's very little. So, I mean, my very unscientific and superficial impression there is that there's just a lot less visibility, and I could be totally wrong about this, of Mapuche people and the language and the anti-colonial struggle of the Mapuche people in Argentina.
con la oralidad es lo que falta en el tema Mapudugün.
Ajá.
Mapudugün. Hay mucha gente que hoy día habla, y hablan papá y chachai, por ejemplo, hablan, sin embargo los nietos no están hablando. Entonces la idea de este curso es apoyarlo a ellos para que un día por último lleguen a su casa y digan mari papá o mari chachai. ¿Qué es lo que vamos a hacer en este curso?
Lo que nosotros queremos hacer junto a Juan en estos videos que estamos compartiendo con ustedes es
skip ahead so we look at the vocabulary a little bit more.
Su idioma.
Mari.
Claro. Perfecto. O sea,
Es el saludo válido y
That is, again, this is the greeting.
para cualquier hecho, cuando saludan a cualquier persona.
perfecto. Impecable. Y aquí dice que la palabra Mari solo significa el número 10.
Exacto.
Yeah, Mari alone, for those who don't speak Spanish, means the number 10, so it's 10-10.
A ver, esto, el mapuche, si se fijan en el inglés, por ejemplo, hello, hola, ¿no es cierto? Pero el mapuche es mari, que serían 10 y tu 10.
10.
10. Entonces, eso viene un poco por el hecho de que antes se saludaba con las 10 manos.
Así es.
Oh, this is because it used to be that people would would greet each other with like the 10 fingers of their hands.
Claro, de esa forma.
Perfecto. Y por eso se evolucionó hasta que eso significa un saludo.
Un saludo, claro.
Mira, qué interesante.
Entonces, pero sin embargo hoy día se usa con la mano, que cuando tú te saludas de esta forma. ¿Ya?
Mari. O sea, aquí hay como 10 dedos, digamos.
Exacto.
Hay como 10 dedos con 10 dedos.
Exacto.
bonito, interesante. Bastante interesante, Juan. Entonces, Mari es el saludo.
Okay. Let's see, what else have I got here in terms of resources? Okay, here's another one from Fietoforo. Again, I'm going to be dropping these links in the chat for anyone who wants to look at the whole thing.
Shalin, Peukayan, Pentekun, Koyautun, Waupin, Mari Mari, Kumela Kaimi, Mai, Eimikai, Peukayan, Kantu Peukatayu, Felei.
Okay, it's sort of basic vocabulary again. And then we have, here there are rappers actually rapping in Mapuche, in Mapudugün rather. And just have a quick look at that. So the title of this is Faulamai. And the rapper's name is Luanco. That is the kulçun that I was talking about. One of the most, probably the best known Mapuche symbol. Okay. And don't want to get in trouble on copyright issues, so I'm just going to drop that link into the chat along with the Omniglot resource page. And let's see. So that is our introduction to Mapudugün. I'm going to be putting this up as a VOD on YouTube in the next day or so for anyone who came in late. And that's episode 2 of Oft Overlooked Languages, where we're looking at Mapudugün, the language of the Mapuche people.